Hi everyone, it's Kim, and I am finally going to do a video about how to make a gem water. Now, a gem water is one in which you have your water that is infused with the energy of crystals. How cool is that? It's a wonderful way to work with crystals and, get that energy. I'm often asked, how do I use crystals? Well, one of the ways you can do it is to make a gem water, and I'm going to teach you how to do that. Before I go on, let me explain that a gem water is one in which the water is infused with the energy of the crystals for up to about 2 to 4 hours. So it's a very subtle water. It's not one that's overly potent or powerful, and it's a great way to start if you've never worked the waters and the crystals in that way. I highly recommend working with gem waters. All right, so it's very simple, 2 to 4 hours of crystal energy in your water, and I'm going to walk you through that in just a second. Then you have what's called the crystal essence, in which the energy of the crystals infused into the water for up to 24 hours, and it's usually getting sunlight and moon, and it's a good 24 hours. It's much stronger than your 2 to 4 hours of in your gem water. Most of the ones that I make are actually gem waters, ones that you just a couple hours and you can sip on that all day, which is great. Once you start making them stronger for up to 24 hours and longer, then you're going to have to use some kind of stabilizer, and I'll talk about that in a second. So you have your essence, which you're using the energy of the crystals. You're putting that into the water for up to 24 hours, and then you have what's called an elixir. An elixir is one that's very, very powerful, and you're infusing the energy of the crystal into the water for up to 2 weeks. So it's really, really powerful. That is what is called an elixir. Now, thank you to Ashley Levy for teaching me this. I highly recommend that if you're going to be doing this, that you take a more specific class. And I have the link below on where you can learn how to make these very specific recipes, dosages. See, once you start making stronger waters, like your essences, or your elixirs that are up to 2 weeks with crystal energy, you really got to know what you're doing, because you're going to take drops of this stuff, not gulps and whole glasses and whole pitchers. All right, when you're working with a gem water, the energy is not as powerful, and it's a lot easier to work with. So if you're just making yourself a glass of water, for up to 2 to 4 hours with crystal energy, you can just sip on it all day and drink it all day. Whereas the elixir and the essence, you're actually going to just be using drops. All right, so it's very, very different. But we're just going to stick with the simple gem water. And if you want to learn more, I highly recommend you take her class, because there's a lot of things to consider. Okay, so the very first thing I'm going to say is, if you are going to be putting any crystal inside your water because you plan on drinking that, then you need to know what you're doing, and you need to know exactly what crystal you have, and you have to be very, very sure, okay? If you have any little doubt, if you're not sure what you have or if that crystal is safe, when in doubt, go without. Don't use it, please. Don't just go sticking any old crystal inside a glass of water and then drink it, because you can really hurt yourself. Okay, there are some that are extremely toxic. There are some that are just not healthy for you in any way whatsoever. Like ones with aluminum, there's studies that show aluminum, that individuals with Alzheimer's have aluminum in there. So you don't want to go there, guys. So if you're not sure, please don't put it in your water and drink it. You can use what's called the indirect method, and I'll teach you that. So more and more, I'm using the indirect method for myself. I rarely put the crystals inside the water anymore. I mostly keep it on the outside to be safe, because better to be safe than sorry, really, because you want the energy of the crystal. It doesn't necessarily have to touch the water for you to get the energy. So let me just go through that. I just wanted to say that. There is a link below. Ashley Levy has a fantastic list of crystals you should not put in your water and drink. Ones that are toxic or things of that nature. And I'll put that link below. Please check that out. All right, so if you decide that you want to go ahead and put your crystal in your glass to make yourself a glass of water, a gem water, make sure your crystal is tumbled. Very important that it is tumbled and not rough, because the natural ones, the rough ones, have a lot of nooks and crannies and places for germs and things to hide. So a nice polished one, you can clean it with soap and water. You want to also retune it or cleanse it so it's energetically cleansed as well, okay? So make sure you're working with a nice, energetically and physically cleaned crystal that is tumbled and safe to use. If you're not sure what your crystal is, do not put it in your water to drink it. There are many, many fakes out there, guys, and you might think, okay, I got this beautiful rose quartz. Yes, rose quartz, I could put that in my water and drink it, but maybe your rose quartz has died. You're going to put that in there, the dye bleeds, you're going to drink that dye. So when in doubt, go without. Do the indirect method. All right, I gotta say that 100 times. All right, so you go ahead, use a tumbled, washed, and cleansed. And then you're gonna put it in your water for 2 to 4 hours. Okay, if it's a safe crystal, and you're gonna go ahead and put it in your water for up to 2 to 4 hours. So I usually do about 4 hours. I like to put it in the sun because I'm a sun girl. But you can also do the moon if you like the moon. And you don't even have to do the sun or the moon if you don't want. You can put it in a crystal grid. I do that too on days that are not so nice out. I will put it in a crystal grid, and I'll put other crystals around it, on top of it, like that. If you have agate slices or anything like that, you can put it on top of that. Really cool things you can do with it to amp up the energy. You can also take points and put points all around your glass to amp up the energy too. All kinds of things you can do with that. You want to make sure it's covered, especially if you're putting it outside, but even if you have it inside, you want to cover it so there's no dust and debris flying into the water that you're going to drink. So I'll use a coffee filter and I'll poke some holes in it so that I can get direct sunlight in it. Other people use plastic wrap, which is fine too, you know, however you want to do it, but have some kind of cover on it so that no icky stuff gets in the water that you're going to drink. Here's a tip. Take your glass of water and put it in between your screen and your window, on your windowsill. This way you're getting light from outside or direct sunlight, even on days when you don't want to go outside. This is a great idea for those that live in apartment buildings as well. So you take your glass of water, you put your crystal in it, let it soak in the sun or the moon or in a grid, wherever you want to put it, in a sacred space for 2 to 4 hours. And then I go ahead and I drink it. I'll put it in the refrigerator. You do want to drink your gem water the first day, maybe the second day. Any longer than that, your gem water is no longer good. And that's one of the good things about having the gem water is that you can, drink the whole glass throughout the day. Whereas if you make an elixir or an essence, now you have to start adding some kind of stabilizer. Now, stabilizer, if you're going to go ahead and do anything like that, make your crystal water stronger and make an essence or an elixir, a stabilizer could be vodka, which is something that I like to use, the vodka, or you can use brandy. Now, these very much so change your water, so that's why it's important, to know what you're doing, because it's going to change your water and you might go around smelling like a brewery. Or you can use apple cider vinegar. But again, that is only for an essence and an elixir. If you're making a simple gem water, 2 to 4 hours of crystal energy in your water, you go ahead and do that. You can drink it within a day or two and you don't need any stabilizer. Another thing you can do with your water to amp it up even further, if you have your crystal in here, and you're soaking it up in the sun or whatever, one of the things that I like to do before I put it out in the sun or in my grid is I hold it and I actually put my intention into the water, because water is very programmable. So I'll put my intention into the water as well. So not only are you getting the crystal energy, you're also getting your own intention. And I go ahead and put that in there. It just makes it even more powerful. And I have another trick that I like to do is use colored glasses. And I got these from AC Moore when they were on sale one day for 99 cents. I think I took a picture. Hello. Like, everybody, look, they're on sale. And I think I got them for all the chakras. These are great if you're doing chakra gem waters, right? Purple, green, I got them all, red, yellow. How cool is that? So now you're also infusing, color into it. If you don't have the jars, try colored mats or even colored glass trays of any kind. So the more different layers of energy you use, the better. You can also try placing your water near your oracle or tarot cards, or on top of the flower of life or seed of life or any geometric pattern. You can program your water using music, a singing bowl, or tuning forks. You can place your water near plants or flowers, as well as by a tree to get that earth energy. Or how about putting your water near your favorite selenite or halite lamp, or burning sage, incense, or other herbs, or even lighting candles, or putting a pretty ribbon around your glass to infuse color energy that way. Then you have thunderstorms. There's a lot of energy going on there you can capture. Or planetary alignments, the change of seasons. These are also great ways to get that energy. And then you have solar flares. Like I said, please be safe. Please do not just go stick any crystal in your glass when you're doing the direct method. All right. I prefer and I highly recommend that you do the indirect method. Now, what is that? The indirect method is when you do not place the crystal in the water that you're going to drink. Right, so you have your glass, you have your water, put your crystals around it or on top or under, but not in the water. It's much safer, it really is, because you don't always know what you have. And I prefer this, and I do it much more often now than putting the crystal in the water. And it's the same kind of thing, you know, you put your crystals around it, on top of it, under it, you put it in the sun or the moon, in a grid, however. It's the same thing, except your crystals are not inside the water that you're drinking. Another way of doing it is, let's say you have a glass, let's say you have a bigger pitcher. You can put your crystals inside. I put my crystal inside a glass, and I take this and stick it inside something bigger, a big glass bowl or a big glass pitcher. And I fill up the water, but it doesn't go, you know, the water doesn't go inside, and the crystals never touch the water. It's like a double boiler. I do that too. In this method, I'm able to use crystals that I ordinarily couldn't put in the water, such as celestite or blue kyanite. And that's called the indirect method. All right, so that is it. Thank you so much for watching. And let me know in the comments below how this is working for you. And I'm also going to show you how to make a vibrational spray, so make sure you check out that video too. Thank you so much for watching, guys, and as always, have a blessed day. Bye.